Hello, everybody. My name is Nitin Manchal. I'm the CEO of Airbnb. We are a consulting firm that really believes in the power of communications to move audiences to positive action, quite quite like the medium of radio, which is what we're here to talk about. I'm also very excited to be here at the Radio Festival. It's India's first festival that really celebrates radio in all its forms. I was here last year as well, so it's been a great journey to be part of the Radio Festival. I think we've all grown up in the 80s when there were no smartphones or social media or OTT platforms. At least I have. Not. I don't know about my panelists here. They all look much younger. The radio was all we had by way of entertainment. So good old days, as we used to say. Listen to your favorite programs on Sunday morning or during the day. I think the radio industry has since come a long way, and but like all industries too, it wasn't prepared for the pandemic like none of us were. Um, the radio industry was also hit by the COVID-19 outbreak with almost with advertising being hit, challenges in terms of getting to office, etc., etc. Thankfully, now as the dust settles, the road to recovery is slowly clearing out, hopefully. And so we've gathered today to understand the challenges of marketing and selling sound during a pandemic and to explore ways on how the radio industry really takes more advantage, and is this an opportunity now, considering a lot of people are listening to more sound than they ever were before. So with that, I just want to quickly introduce my panelists. So we have today with us Rajat Uppal, who's National Head Marketing Alliances at Ishq FM. Rajat has a vast experience of working in marketing with some of the most prestigious brands in the country. We have Ishtiaq Ahmed. He's National Head Digital at Red FM. Ishtiaq was the recipient of the Emmys for the Best Media Marketer, Best Media Strategy, and ERA for the Best FM Brand. We also have Mona Lisa Mandal, AVP Marketing, Fever FM Network, comprising Radio Nasha, Radio 1, and Fever FM. Mona Lisa has worked extensively on new product launches, brand tracks, media plans, and media evaluations. Sudipta Suri is here with us, National Marketing Director at Radio Mirchi. So Sudipta has immense experience in go-to-market strategizing, marketing, brand development, sales, and business development. And we also have Sanat Kumar Mishra of Radio City. Sanat is Senior Vice President and Marketing Head of Radio City, spearheading the entire marketing portfolio for the channel and developing brand strategies in conjunction with programming. So thank you for giving us your valuable time today. Before we get into some questions, I just want you to just share your views one by one on the topic we are debating today, marketing during this pandemic, a new challenge, and then we move on to questions. So as I see the screen, let me go from the top. Sanat, you're on top left of my screen. So let's start with you first.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Nitin, for the introduction. So, this was a pandemic, and it has given a lots of learning also. So, I was reading an article which Kantar has released a few months back, and the article was very interesting. Not only the media industry, but the ad agency as well as the broadcaster, everybody is facing a problem. And there are certain clues which, like, they are talking about, which is going to emerge in coming months and coming years, okay, which is going to help. So as far as marketing is concerned, what they are trying to say that the ad agency, they will focus not only CPT or CTRP, eyeballs, how many people you are reaching out. So there are the factor which is emerging out very clearly, not only for India, globally. People, they will start looking at the credibility and trust as a factor when they want to associate with any brand or any media. So at the same time, what they are saying, when they interacted with some of the CMOs worldwide, including Google, Facebook, and in India like Tata, Reliance. Now, based on that, like the factor which has come out very clearly, the CMOs and the CEOs, they are talking about 53% of this people, they are saying they want to be more innovative because the world has changed. The consumer has changed, their habit has changed, their consumption pattern has changed. So they want to try something new during this in coming years. Now, if you are asking me what is the single biggest shift, the single biggest shift is that, like, there will be a increase in campaign effectiveness. Initially, and that is a part of the marketing, and all the marketeers or CMOs, they are struggling how to measure the campaign effectiveness. So ad agency, the advertisers, brand manager, they will ask us, if you're doing any campaign, whether it's like a radio, TV, print, anything, so what is the measurement over and above the CPT? That's the measurement part. Second part, which is coming out very clearly, 90% of the marketeers and the CMOs, they are saying the world is going to be changed, and that is going to impact their marketing budget. 60% of them are saying their marketing budget will has gone down drastically, and there is no scope of improvement. So there is a cause of concern for all of us. So when you are interacting with the brand or the ad agency, so we will need to align with their campaign objective. So that's the scene I can see over here. Now, if you're talking about radio as an industry, recently the PwC report which has come out, now what they are saying, there is a drop in 2020 is abnormal, but there would be a growth. As far as radio is concerned, 40% of the growth radio is going to achieve this year in terms of revenue, and primarily the growth is going to come from tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Okay, thanks, Sanath, for those opening remarks. I'm going to go to Mona Lisa now. Mona, you want to give some opening remarks?
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good. Okay, so with regards to, if I have to look back at the pandemic last year, it's been the most exciting, the most challenging, the most hardworking year of my career. It has been so far. I mean, suddenly when the world shut down, suddenly, when first lockdown was announced, it was in March, April and May, there was such a stress and tension within the organization as to how do we want to kind of go ahead, go forward, talk to our listeners, talk to our customers, talk to our advertisers. The advertising revenue was down to 20%. So that was one of the most important, I think, the first quarter of 2020. Where we actually kind of brainstormed, we kind of, went into a war room and, decided that this is not the way we have been doing marketing in radio. We have always been, not just in radio, but any other, any other media company, any other FMCG brand, the era of traditional marketing was actually over. This was the time where we actually ventured into the era of content marketing, because that was the only way of reaching out to your customers, your consumers, your internal stakeholders, your partners, everywhere. And the media through which you could reach out to all these people, radio, definitely radio became all more important, because it was the only medium at that point in time which was giving out live information, which was on the go, which was impactful, which was credible, so that ways radio kind of really scored well. At the second time, the next best alternative for us to reach out to our audiences was through the digital media. So we kind of imbibed the digital in a very, very big way. And digital is just not to say that we were talking about social media. We were talking about the go-to-market strategy through which we were reaching out to our customers. We are engaging with them. All that changed. What is the conversations that was happening was very different before pandemic, was very different what happened after pandemic. So I would say, for us, this entire way of conversation with your audience changed now, and maybe we would not like to go back. Now it has kind of opened our eyes. We don't want to go back to traditional ways of marketing through through print ads or billboards or ATL, so to say. I think every company is now thinking on the go, thinking like a startup, because the budgets have been good either side of the table. So yes, it is keeping us on the edge, and content is the way to go for us.
Great, thank you for that insight. Ishtiaq, you want to go next?
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Nitin. Thanks, everyone over here to join this panel. So basically, the pandemic, nobody had foreseen that something like this is going to hit all of our segment. So at the very start, I mean, it was like a very evolving kind of a situation. Everything, new discoveries was happening, new problems was coming up. So for the first time, as brand red, I mean, the brand took a backseat. Consumer was everything, I mean, for us. Okay. So keeping consumer centricity in mind, I mean, we were quick enough, and a lot of other brands also started doing the same thing. We were agile enough to quickly respond to the situation that was existing. Clearly, when the pandemic hit, clearly everything was around the fact that, I mean, was purpose driven clearly, and for each and every activity that we used to embark on, we used to ask, why are we doing it, and why are we doing it, and the customers, I mean, used to be central limit to it. So certainly, I mean, with the pandemic hitting us, I mean, radio, the power of radio got realized. I mean, the power of radio got realized in various ways, because typically a station which has a 68 station network, I mean, that has 68 stations under the belt are nothing but 68 different local communities, I mean, that you can galvanize. I mean. So at the very start of the pandemic, we started on decluttering the whole space. There was a lot of fake news and myth that was around the pandemic. So we worked very closely with all the multilateral institutions, I mean, to the government, Ministry of INB or Ministry of Health or WHO. We were disseminating messages, factual messages, I mean, around COVID, because there was a lot of anxiety, I mean, that was there, I mean, within our consumers. The idea was to galvanize the local community, direct it towards a goal. And the best goal that we realized was to latch on was what the government was trying to advocate. And so may it be the PM Care Fund announcement, a fundraising activity for that, or during the initial period of the lockdown, decoding what this lockdown is all about, I mean, how to cope up with it. Plus, at the same time, being an entertainer, we were also entertaining. I mean, so our core competency is we are an entertainer. I mean, so we reached out to all the Bollywood celebs, difficult to reach celebs, the musicians, I mean, and started to interact with them quite a lot. We became a platform where we got these celebs, the iconic Bollywood celebs and musicians, closer to our audience, and we explored various programming innovations, I mean, all through this course. Certainly, I mean, it was an evolving situation. It was very purpose driven. So may it be the plasma campaign that we did, because there was at a later stage, I mean, of the lockdown, to all the messaging, I mean, that we had driven for the government, I mean, in the whole process.
Thanks. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll come back to the purpose driven piece as well. So Dipta, do you want to go next? And then go to the...
So thanks for this opportunity. This pandemic has been a shocker for everybody, and when it started, radio got impacted very heavily, because what happens is the marketeer who's spending the money, firstly they stop spending money. Also, there is this huge perception that radio is mainly listened to in cars, because we as the high-end consumers are listening to it in cars. And hence, suddenly when the car traffic was gone, there was this whole perception that no one's listening to radio. So we are a very research-driven organization. So we thought, let's do a research and actually find out. And actually, that was a really scary research, because we were ourselves scared to, find out what the results are going to be. And we always go with trusted agencies. So we did that research with IMRB. And to our, very pleasant surprise, the consumption had actually increased. The number of days that people were consuming had gone up from about 3.5 days per week earlier, pre-COVID, to about 5.5 days a week. The average time spent had actually doubled from 0.6 hours to 1.3 hours. So that was a very interesting research, and we did it. I mean, we did industry level. This is industry level data. And then we also deep dive into the brand where, Mirchi was doing well. So we, use this a lot to break the myth that, radio is not doing well. Then another opportunity, the fact that, to draw consumers to to radio, we actually did a print campaign which spoke about the fact that, you know, people were really getting bored. They were sitting at home. They were not used to it. It was a really tough time. So we did a campaign which spoke about the tune into our channel, let our RJs break the boredom of this lockdown. So just a mass media campaign to just tell people that we are there for you. What we definitely saw happening in the pandemic is that, as some of the other panelists also mentioned, that radio is a very trustworthy medium. You know, unlike digital, where a lot of fake news can float and there is no credibility to it, people really tuned to radio because they were getting credible information in a fun and entertaining manner. So I think these three were the big initiatives, big things that we took right in the beginning of the lockdown. Of course, we've come a long way since then. And now we are we've in fact taken a big step of changing our brand identity and talking about larger things. But these three top things were what comes to mind at the start of the pandemic.
Rajat, your remarks.
Hey Nitin, hi everyone. So I mean, most of the stuff the panelists have already covered, but one thing I think everyone's kind of missed out is the fact that the moment the lockdown happened, right, everyone had a day's notice almost for a lockdown. And we being a broadcast medium, the first thing was, how do we broadcast? I mean, so as a marketeer, the first challenge is that how do you continue to be live? So the programming and the entire tech teams, the biggest task was to figure out how to get radio going through homes, right? Well, once that piece was put in place is where then the marketing teams came in, because where they would usually find the consumer or target the consumer, the pattern of consumers' day changed. So, consumers are not to be found on the streets. So, if you were to do some sort of a campaign, you need to reinvent how to reach out to them. So a lot of digital players, in fact, radio players took to digital because they found that digital was a way to kind of reach out to the audience besides the on-air campaigns. And like Sudipta said, I mean, there was a research which was done by ANZ research as well, which showed that radio consumption had gone up and 82% of the people were actually tuning into radio. So I would say that marketing from home shifted from a perspective of moving to a lot of digital. And I mean, one thing which the pandemic taught a lot to all of us was, there was this sense of panic amongst all marketeers, right? That how will we market? So, I mean, I think to an extent, I mean, I've had the luxury of working across two brands. I was at that point of time heading marketing for Red FM, and I recently moved to Ish. So, essentially, what I'm trying to put, Nitin, is that there was a panic amongst everyone. Everyone went overboard. I mean, there was bombardment of content, which I see. I mean, my biggest learning out of pandemic is the fact that be open to change, adapt, don't panic, because reality is that we had scenarios where we were doing like 20 Insta lives a day. Is that the right way? Maybe, maybe not. So I mean, I think as marketeers, the biggest thing the pandemic has given is that the world is unpredictable and you got to be adaptable.
That's true. I think adaptability was the one key thing that's come out across industries. So thank you for your opening remarks. And I think there were some interesting things that came out from different comments, and I'm going to pick up a couple of those things. I think the first thing that came out was that two of you spoke about the increase in consumption, right? So increase of customers listening, whether it was time or days or whatever was spending. Did you see that convert into revenues as well, or the advertisers were not buying that?
So the category certainly, I mean, saw a lot of traction, I mean, in terms of consumption. And, the biggest myth that the radio industry has not been able to quell, I mean, among the trade community and the larger trade, extended trade community is today the radio consumption still maximum, it happens, I mean, in home. rather than the drive times. For some reason, there is a massive skew that has gone from a trade standpoint towards the drive time, but unfortunately, that is not true. So hence, we always had the home consumption high for the entire category, and it grew up because people had enough of time. So that research was clearly indicated. And this and literally all the brand benefited out of it. But the biggest challenge was to monetize that. See, this pandemic was a huge disruption. It was a disruption for everybody. Because immediately the brands didn't know. When everything is shut down, why will any advertiser come on board? And try and advertise themselves or waste money. At that point of time. So not only radio, all other category also took a hit. The first thing I remember, I got the moment we entered into a lockdown, I got a mail from Facebook and YouTube both. Okay, look, the revenues will take a hit. You won't be able to monetize your views and your assets, which is getting X number of views at this point of time. So it was across the board. So it was not unique to the radio category as such. But one good thing that we have seen, and again, this is the evolving situation. So now what we have seen is the tier 2, tier 3 town once again has picked up in terms of volumes and stuff. So, and mainly it is to do with the retail advertisers. So typically, if you see a retail advertiser has their ears to the ground, versus somebody, who is a corporate advertiser. So the problem is currently existing in the metros, where it's largely corporate driven. There it has slowed down. There are challenges, in filling the volumes and stuff. Otherwise, the market has started to pick up, and mostly it's from tier 1, tier 2 town that things are progressing.
Sorry, Rajat, you.
Yeah, so Nitin, except for probably news broadcasting advertising, all other mediums saw a hit because essentially brands backed out in terms of spending. So, radio wasn't an exception. And what Ishtiaq said actually, is very correct that, there's this perception that the consumer which matters is actually listening to radio only in the car. But reality is still predominant consumption of radio is at home, right? And yes, traditional sets may not be there, but a lot of consumption happens on mobile phones, right? A lot of consumption happens on the mobile phones, maybe on the move. Now, the same guy who's not on the move now is probably listening to radio on a conventional set if he or she has it, or probably listening it to on the mobile. Now, the challenge was actually if advertisers are not advertising, where do you get the money from, right? So, like Ishtiaq also mentioned, yes, last couple of months, the medium has seen some sort of resurgence. And it's not only for radio. Media as an category is seeing some resurgence because brands are now planning to or trying to get back to their usual way of advertising. It's still not anywhere closer to what it used to be earlier. Yeah. Radio came down to what, about 20 to 25% of advertising in the initial phase of lockdown, right? That's the reason, most of the radio brands started looking at alternative mediums to see whether digital solutions can generate money and see at alternatives revenue streams as well.
I want to pick up one point from what you said. So if the industry was down to 25%, in the last few months, is there an uptake? Are we back to pre-COVID levels, or we still have some time to go?
So there are two things. I will just add to what other people are saying. So yes, the kind of reach radio is having and the kind of revenue radio as a category is getting, there is a huge gap. But during pandemic, there are two things which has come out very clearly. If you look at the kind of advertiser they have used radio as a medium, what has happened? If you are looking at the ad exit, there are some 11,000 plus advertisers came on board. And if I'm talking about the during lockdown, April, May, June, when the AROI research, when industry body they came together, which was published into the market, post that there are certain brand they came and they use radio and their and in certain month the number of brand which came on radio was higher than the digital. So the myth is that like if people or brand they are not using radio, that was broken. But having said that, the kind of revenue radio deserve, it's like a long way to go. And the reason is that the kind of perception is among the advertisers and ad agency people. Now second question which you are talking about, yes. So if you look at the data, ADEX data, that is a monetary data which is available into the market based on that. So October onwards, October during H2, the volume has gone up in comparison with last year. But the kind of revenue, because people, marketeers, there is a limited budget, they are negotiating. And if I'm talking about, the rate has gone down, PK, and all of us are aware of that. So yes, in terms of volume there is a growth, but if I'm talking about in terms of revenue, yeah, it is long way to go.
Sujata, Mona, any comments from you on these two questions?
Yeah, I just want to add on a point that definitely the uptake on the volume we still haven't seen so far. I mean, so far our volumes are not back to the pre-COVID levels. However, over the last 6-8 months, the ERs have also been kind of really spoiled. So that is one more reason why why the comeback has been little painful, little difficult for us, because over the last 6-8 months the categories, the brands, the corporates, they have been spoiled by giving out a lot of discounted rates and stuff like that. So the road ahead is a little slower. However, in terms of understanding the credibility and the role of the media which radio is playing, there is no doubt about it that a lot of fintech, edtech, your banking, finance, all of them have kind of shown vested interest, and they have been doing their associations, and ad monies have been coming in from these sectors definitely. Now, of course, there are those sectors like hospitality and airlines which have been really affected very badly. It'll take some time for them to come back to the category, but the other categories have jumped up into the bandwagon. In fact, e-commerce and all, they have also started advertising big time on radio. So we are slowly going there, but it is still long way. I mean, I would see next year till about your H2, it is going. It'll recover.
So I just wanted to add, as all of us have mentioned, that when we started off, when the lockdown began, revenues were really down. The good news is that so they were about 70% down. The good news is that we are each quarter, and we had our investor call yesterday. Each quarter we are improving the revenues, we are improving the ERs. So the strategy that we followed at the beginning of the lockdown is because there was hardly any business, clients were not giving business. So we are big time into solutions business. So we started doing a lot of proactive pitches, a lot of going out to clients with some ideas, and of course the conversion rate of that was pretty low. But we still got, that's how business came in, in the initial part of the lockdown. And happy to say that with the solution focus, at present, we are at a higher number of clients who do solutions with us than last year. So things are beginning to look better. Even in terms of volumes, we are doing very well. Revenue is still a struggle because, as Mona Lisa mentioned, that the ERs which have been compromised will take a bit of time to recover, and that's the challenge. So that's the biggest challenge that we are, we have in front of us on how to recover the ERs back.
So that's like any other industry, I guess. The road to recovery, you can see a road to recovery, but it's slow, but it's surely getting there. So it's not that it's not getting there. So thank you for those comments. I think one of the common themes that also emerged from this initial comments was about digital. And so what is the view of everybody here on will digital emerge as an alternate platform for radio companies in the days to come? Will that be post the pandemic?
That's already happening, Nitin, actually. Radio companies are increasingly using digital, because instead of fighting it, it's better to embrace it. So, we have the media.
Will the pandemic accelerate the digital adoption is what?
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It already
Absolutely.
has. It already has, because digital is the medium which saw the highest growth in the lockdown. So and people took to it. It's easy to consume. So and we have the inherent advantage, because we have over 300 creators in the company. So no other media company can boast of this sort of creative talent in-house. So we're already seeing that, and we've seen growth in this lockdown period.
So just to add to what Srijita was saying, I mean, see, clearly, I mean, the direction is digital, I mean, for any brand. I mean, with the kind of explosion that has happened in this whole space, I mean, what we did at Red, what we did was our challenge was during the pandemic, before the pandemic, I mean, our entire annual operating plan was in place. A lot of on the IPs that we used to do on ground was slated for various months. I mean, with this pandemic coming in, I mean, what we immediately took a call was to take these IPs, I mean, on the digital platform. Okay, and there are some IPs where we got a lot of traction. There are a few IPs, I mean, there was an average traction, I mean, around it. It was again depending upon the periodicity, the various situations, I mean, that was happening around, the kind of anxiety that people was gripped into. But of late, I mean, everything is easing. But certainly, I mean, for any radio brand, I mean, digital is clearly the way forward. The more you embrace, the better you will be. So what we did was we launched 30 podcasts, I mean, as originals. Okay, so that was something, I mean, that we did all during the pandemic. Besides that, we took for the PM Care Fund. I mean, we did a fundraising exercise. We went into collaborations, I mean, with people like T Series, Music Plus. We did the Care concert, I mean, with them, which was clearly backing up the PM Care Fund initiative. I mean. Then we did the Rise India Award with Music Plus, 4 edition of Rise India Award, profile around 25-30 for the human interest stories, I mean, for COVID warriors from across the country. All this happened, I mean, on the digital platform. So what basically all through the pandemic, I mean, almost every player tried to do stuff, I mean, in digital. There were a few of them who were a little organized, I mean, who could launch IPs back to back, I mean, on the digital platform. And clearly for us as a radio player, while we are sitting in a radio festival, I mean, but it's been long, I mean, even much before the pandemic, we have started to think, hey, we are platform agnostic. I mean, so we are in the business of content creation. We are in the business of entertainment. I mean, radio is one of the distribution outlet that we have. Besides that, we have created multiple other distribution outlets as well. So digital is certainly the way to go. I mean, and radio is one of the distribution platforms.
So, Nitin, adding to what my fellow panelists have said, it's essentially not just radio. I mean, for any content company, digital is the way forward, because digital is the now and the future way of distribution. So, also with radio companies trying to be aggressive and very proactive on the digital front is also from the fact that essentially being an audio medium, they have an opportunity to go visual as well, right? So, it's a way of, so if I was to market a particular RJ, on air is a voice, but through a digital, I can build a persona, an image to an RJ as well. So essentially, what the pandemic, I think, did for any of the content brands, I will not say radio, content brands, is the fact that what would have probably taken 2 years has happened in a few months. Right? So, the push has been huge, because the biggest advantage of digital is that you've got a option of viewing as you want to view. So I think digital will for at least for the radio industry as well, will become a big piece in the coming months. And in fact, I was at that point at Red, and my colleagues at Ishq tell me that they in fact set up what is called an Ishq Ideation Lab, which was essentially a digital solution-centric arm. So yes, I mean, digital is here to stay, and it'll be growing. I mean, hand in hand with radio. But I would say once for again, a mother brand is a mother brand, right? We're in the business of radio, so digital will come up big way, but radio is here to stay as well. So I mean, we'll not become an all only a digital company. It'll be radio plus digital plus on grounds and henceforth.
So just a slight difference, I mean, of opinion, I mean, of what Rajan said. I don't think so. Radio operators, I mean, needs to think, I mean, we are a radio company. I mean, typically the content, I mean, that today we all are doing, I mean, it is relevant across platforms. I mean, okay. So while our DNA would be, there would be a radio in our DNA somewhere, I mean, but we are no more a radio, a digital, a radio specific company. I mean, in any means. I mean, we are in the business of entertainment. We are a content creator, and it's not the glorified meaning like, okay, everyone has a client solution team. I mean, today all radio network has this client solution team. Somebody will call it a ideation lab. Somebody will call it a solutions business. I mean, that's not a differentiator. I mean, okay.
You're all marketing.
But yeah.
No, so I would like to add a point here. What pandemic actually did is that, see, I would like to talk about Fever FM here. Fever FM, although everybody has their digital presence, Fever also has its digital presence, but we were still laggards, in terms of our digital landscape, digital footprint when we compare ourselves to the competition. What pandemic actually did to the entire system, the entire ecosystem, is that it pushed it so hard that all the fence sitters, all the people who were hesitant on the digital adoption, it just happened so smoothly, so quickly, so effortlessly. Otherwise, like Rajat very, very clearly said that, the adoption would have taken at least 2 years. That just accelerated. So that kind of helped. This entire pandemic also, kind of helped us, go over the board with our digital landscape. The number of initiatives, the number of digital properties we launched, I would have never imagined doing all these things in previous to pre-COVID era, like 100 hours, 100 stars we did, or a digital icon we did. We did Nasha Photo Studio, we did 90s Ki Playlist. These are all big properties otherwise happening on a physical platform, on an on-ground platform. I mean, the environment never thought that these can be effortlessly, seamlessly converted into a digital property. And that's what we did. Effortlessly it happened. There were sponsorships, there were monies that we could from the advertisers, from the sponsors, and it kind of helped you sail through the year slowly. So where on the other side FCT and ER were really getting hammered, Roger, on the other side this was the other beautiful ecosystem that was getting created, which was a hybrid. Now, of course, it would be a hybrid variety. But it was a pure play digital solutions, property, and it kind of helped the advertisers also to come on board.
So, I mean, all of us are saying the same thing. So what is happening right now? Consumers, their readiness to adapt to digital media experiences. And I think all of us talked about our own properties. Now, there is a trend which is emerging out very clearly that by 2025, 45% of the world would be by 5G. And Mr. Ambani is going to launch 5G in H2. So looking at, there is a relationship between consumer, they are available anywhere and everywhere. So yes, and why we are moving towards digital? Because consumer, they are readiness to adopt the digital media experiences. So people, they talk about, there was a case study like which I can talk about, which has demonstrated. We used to do a Radio City Super Singer, and normally the kind of response we used to do because of on-ground activity. But during the pandemic, when this activity was launched on digital along with Padam Shri Mr. Kailash Kher, 4.5 lakh people, they did the registration and audition. It's a huge number. So the and how, because it was combined the way like it was propagated. So yes, digital is going to use as a distribution channel. I think some of my colleagues they talked about, and it is going to happen. So there is a relationship also. Most of us we are getting into the podcast business, and if you look at, there is a relationship. For revenue versus listenership is growing at the rate of 22.22. So in 2019, if you would have talked about कि this kind of thing is going to happen, I would have said कि नहीं होगा. But looking at people, the consumer, they have adopted digital media experiences. They are consuming, and so as to the industry, they are giving that kind of content. So yes, there is a way forward, and digital is going to be the future as far as our industry is concerned in terms of podcast and other things.
And clearly, Nitin, I mean, the biggest challenge, I mean, that today and this is for all radio operators, is today the maximum consumption happens on a mobile device. Okay, almost 80% is on a mobile device. I don't think so. If you see, I mean, any operator today has a clear mobile strategy. Today, if you see all other radio players internationally, I mean, are there on the digital streaming platform. I mean, and when I say streaming platform of their own, I don't think so. Even anybody, I mean, in India can even has even discussed this, try to figure out where are the hurdles. I mean, why don't we speak to music company for a non-interactive license? I mean, so that we can stream our station, we can enable the same radio feed, I mean, available, I mean, on smart devices, I mean, like Alexa, Google Home. Nobody is talking about all that. While, so the point is we can't be there. I mean, we can't be approaching things, I mean, while wearing the radio shoes. I mean, we will have to change the shoes. I mean, otherwise none of us will survive. I mean.
So, adding to this, I mean, Ishtiaq, you would remember this has been a long discussion where royalty is an issue, right? Now, streaming is something radio has been exploring for a long time. It's just that the revenue model doesn't fit in. So, I mean, till the time the royalties issues are like kind of sorted, I mean, I don't think streaming will work very well, though all radio brands should look at having a streaming solution, because that's the way forward. And one more thing quick I would want to add, this is Ishtiaq on the previous thing we were discussing, and the reality is that while all of us, I mean, love consuming stuff on digital, reality is the changed consumer will be a hybrid consumer. There are certain things which are experiential which will never get replaced. I mean, if all of us were given an option of would you want to stream a concert of your favorite artist, or would you want to attend it on ground, right? Chances are that 80% people will still jump on to going and experiencing it on ground. While what the lockdown has done, the pandemic has done, that people's entire perception of consuming stuff digitally, they're far more open than what they were earlier. So yes, there's a big paradigm shift, but it's not that, the world will completely change. As lockdowns, as things normalize, people will go back to their usual routine also. So, your on-grounds events, experiential, I mean, I would love to dine out rather than ordering food in. So the experiential bit will come back, yes, with an altered way, because the consumers has changed.
I agree. So I think hold that thought, because that was really the area I wanted to go next. I think you're right. I think the hybrid model is here to stay for a while before we come back to physical. And I think I attended my first awards function physically last night by Exchange for Media at the Hyatt. There were about 100 people there in a capacity of 300. So people were all there wearing masks, and it went really well, I thought. And today is the conference, which is online. So I think there'll be hybrid models for a while to stay. But my question really related to the industry, the radio industry, is that considering, Rajat, you mentioned early on in your comments that, we didn't know what struck us. We had to, start working from home immediately. Is that model here to stay? That are you all going to go back to office? Will there be a hybrid model for all of you? Will you create content from home and office? Or what is going to change in the way you will work as an industry, use as an industry?
So, Nitin, I mean, from purely on-air talent perspective, right? Back to the studio is what has happened with most of the brands, and I mean, there are limitations of doing shows from home, right? But a lot of other departments, I mean, if I was to say, I mean, I'm working from office though, but like a marketing team, I mean, locational presence is not something which is makes a difference. So, I mean, from a business perspective, I think what the pandemic has done, even to companies which were far more traditional in the thought process, which thought that work from home leads to degradation of efficiency, they've realized also would be far more open to a lot of teams and employees working from home, because there's a clear benefit from a cost perspective. I mean, if the efficiency is not affected, I mean, what difference does it make whether you work from home or you work from? But from a pure on-air content talent perspective, I mean, where there's requirement for studios, shoots, recordings, I think locationally you have to be. I mean, it's important to be at the place of work.
Okay. Sudipta, Mona, any thoughts from you before I go into my last question, because we've got 5 minutes left?
So it's definitely happening because, as Rajat was saying, that it's fundamentally changed the thought process. IT companies were doing it for a while, but now most companies, our company also has realized that how work from home can be, equally efficient. There are challenges in some departments, but for example, our sales team, now the directive is that, they should be out in the field. They need to come to office only for meetings. One thing we've realized is, function wise, it will vary. In fact, like yesterday was the first time I went to office after 11 months. So that's the trend going forward. But one thing we've realized is that, while work happens from home, but there is a depletion of the emotional connect, the social connect, and that a regular meeting is required. So the way forward is, even for the teams, including marketing, sales, who are going to be having a hybrid model of working from home and office. If you're there at home for extended periods, or if you don't land up meeting the whole team, we are going to have regular team meetings out, or lunch out, so that personal connect is there, and that also fuels a large part of your working, besides just the hardcore work.
So just to wrap up, my last question really from all of you, if you can just go around once more. Two things I want you to answer take about 40 seconds each. One, any heartwarming story you kind of saw through your channel, which you kind of, either one of your RJs did, or you kind of managed to do during the lockdown. And two, one trend gone to you for 2021, one future looking trend which will impact your industry.
During the lockdown, what has happened, and I'm from Mumbai, so Dabbewala, it was they impacted very much, and the kind of story one of our RJ along with programming team, they approached, and that was too much emotional, like a goosebumps comes to the way the narration has happened on air. There was a call from a rickshaw wala, and he says, okay, normally sir, I draw almost 500 rupees ab wo bhi nahi hai, but I want to contribute because I understand what kind of situation Dabbawala is going through that. And the way like in Mumbaikar, they came together on air, almost 25 lakh rupees we collected, and even government of Maharashtra, they gave 1 crore rupees to Dabbewala. So that was a emotional connect. So from like a rich to poor, everybody, they came together, they supported Dabbewala during this activity. When this activity we talked on air. Now, having said that, if you're talking about future, I think most of the point was covered by most of the panelists. So there is a future, because 5G is going to come, distribution is going to be the game for radio industry also, and those who are going to align with this, they are going to win the race. That's from my side.
One of the things that we did in Bombay, and Bombay is still one of the worst affected cities in terms of lockdowns, because trains have not started. A lot of people have not started going back to office. So Jeetu Raj, who is our prominent personality, he started this Jeetu Raj Ke Khabri. So it was very interesting, because from across the city, from across the length and breadth of the city, we were getting calls. They were telling people on what's happening on ground, what's the situation on ground. So that just shows the power of the medium, like how it connects to people, and how people want to talk back to the medium. So that was a very very emotional story. I think going forward 2021, we were already in the solution space. Pandemic has accelerated our drive towards solutions. I think that is going to be the emerging trend, because radio is in the media spend for a marketeer is a small sliver of the whole spend that he does. So just radio FCT is not going to be that important, but we have become the solution partners for clients. They come to us with their marketing problems, and we actually devise solutions which are across media. So something that is going to I feel continue to see an upswing, because it solves the marketeers' problems.
Thanks, Sudipta. Ishtiaq, you want to go ahead?
So for Fever FM, Radio 1 and Radio Nasha, I think not one, but across the pandemic, throughout the pandemic, we did multiple stories on a lot of, these stories that are popping up through the length and breadth of the country. It could be, free meals to the immigrant workers, or taking care of the stray dogs, or distributing, masks across the roads. How Sonu Sood reinvented himself is a story in itself. So all of these different stories that are popping up throughout the country, we were making sure that all these stories are reaching out to our listeners. I mean, it kind of making sure that these acts, these COVID warriors were getting applauded, appreciated. They were getting a sense of applaud from the fraternity, from the radio fraternity. At the end of it, there was a listener connect also. So that's what happened in terms of how we kind of populated these stories on our network. In terms of trend, I think I would again go back to saying the same point, that content is the king. It is really immaterial right now whether you are in the terrestrial, or you are in the digital, or you are in the podcast. It does not really matter. What matters right now is that what kind of content you are churning out. The content has to have a millennial and Gen Z connect. The content has to have meaningful outcomes for your advertisers, customers at the end of it. And one more thing I want to add here is that, a lot of advertisers feel that digital is the way to go. Yes, of course, digital is the way to go, but, by adding, small amount of your media monies to radio gives you that multiplier that is required on your digital performance. So from that perspective, I think the advertisers also have to take a relook at how they're deploying the media monies across different medias, and look into radio a little more seriously, because we're just not radio, we are content creators at the end of it.
Thanks, Mona. Ishtiaq, you want to quickly?
Yeah, so all through the pandemic, I mean, there was a lot of human interest stories, I mean, that came across from all other stations. So mainly during the Rise India Award, we would have featured almost around 100 odd stories. I mean, but the most touching story, I mean, personally to me, was when we were doing the plasma drive activity. I mean, there was a gentleman who lost his mother and father, I mean, both in the pandemic, and he offered himself. I mean, he will donate his plasma, I mean, to a needy person, I mean, who needed that plasma. So that was the most touching story, I mean, for me. I mean, because we did a digital story also with that gentleman, I mean, and I think there were lots of stories, I mean, actually. And as far as the trend, I mean, that will continue, I mean, in days to come. Clearly, I mean, digital, everyone have to, all radio player will have to embrace. In what form are we embracing it? Is it only restricted till distribution, or is it only restricted till creating content which is across the spectrum, which is going to be for across the spectrum, is something that we have to consciously decide. I mean, but our digital transformation journey has to fasten up. I mean, at this point of time, none of us, there are indications of digital transformations. I mean, it had speeded up at a lot of places, like Mirchi dropped on radio from their brand name. Red, for example, when we invested heavily, I mean, into getting our backend for our podcast business, and then so all that has happened. Digitally, we need to transform quickly.
Yeah. For your time, Rajat, you want to take closing remarks from you?
Yes. So, Nitin, while there were a zillion emotional stories, and I would say, like, as marketeers, we were opportunists. We carried it because we wanted to be heard and, build our brand. But one thing which I think works well is the fact that people consider any broadcast medium as a medium which is credible. And radio, I would say, across, I mean, not just the brands we work for, maybe the other radio stations as well, use the medium well to give information on the pandemic and, when there was a requirement for blood, the plasma. So, the strength that radio has over digital, the fact that credibility, a lot of stuff on digital, people are not sure whether it's credible because WhatsApp communication is, the way it is. So I think radio use the medium well to calm the nerves, to give good human interest stories and give out good information. Now, the way forward, Nitin, clearly is the fact that, hybrid is the model, right? Radio companies will do a lot of digital on ground as it opens up, right? But the road is not going to be very easy, because reality is that when you get into the content space on digital, your background agnostic. So, even a single man content creator can get to give far better content than maybe the bigger players as well. So quality and relevance of content. And yes, hybrid is the way forward, Nitin.
Great. Thanks, Rajat, and thank you everybody for a great discussion. I think future's clearly different, but it's bright. I think everybody spoke about digital seems to be a common refrain, whether it's digital only or hybrid. I think time will tell. Content is going to continue to rule. And I think I just wanted to thank all of you for sharing those heartwarming stories. And I think everybody's played a little part in during the pandemic. So thank you, everybody. And thank you for sharing, and thank you for this great discussion.